everybody. I am so thankful you could join me today. I have something very special that's on my heart that I'd like to share with you. I want to talk about how you can flip that pain, worry, and fear into opportunities to work at the feet of Jesus. In John 8:44, it says that our enemy is a liar and a father of lies. He is a thief. He robs us of our happiness and our joy, and he tries to creep into our hearts, deceiving us in any way that he can. Bitterness is described as a lack of sweetness, or it's defined as anger and disappointment at being treated unfairly. Think of watercress, turnip greens, and dandelions. Those are very bitter plants. When you eat those bitter greens, your bitter taste receptors are activated. It triggers a cascade of physiological responses. These taste receptors warn us of potentially toxic plants. Likewise, a natural human defense mechanism is to respond to bitterness by taking adverse reaction to protect ourselves. We tend to put up walls, maybe even accuse others, or sometimes use our words to harm others. The danger in this is that we could potentially hurt the innocent. Consequently, the enemy loves bitterness. It is a sneaky way to infiltrate people through feelings. In 1 Peter 5:8, it says to be sober-minded, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. God has given each of us our own free will. That's a choice. Without that choice, we could not choose to love him or to not love him. Therefore, he could not have true love. Sometimes we face the consequences of others' choices, and sometimes we face the consequences of our own. We also live in a fallen world, and a fallen world is not going to be perfect all the time. We're going to have disease, and we're going to have natural phenomena. Your enemy is not what actually happens to you in this fallen world. Rather, the battle lies within, what creeps into your heart, and how we react to others because of it. Let's think about it. God is love. When he created us, he filled us with his spirit, which is love. Because of our choices, we have the ability to weave a veil that covers our love-filled hearts. This veil can be woven with bitterness, fear, worry, hatred, or any other feeling that is not love. We then have a choice to stem our decisions from the roots that are woven within that veil, or we can dig those roots down deeper into that heart filled with love. Proverbs 14:10 says that the heart knows its own bitterness, and no stranger shares its joy. Maybe there are things in your life that haven't turned out as you have planned. Maybe you have lost a loved one. Maybe somebody said something that really hurt your feelings. Maybe people don't seem to understand how you are feeling. Maybe your spouse has different ideas than you have, and it's hard to work together. We all get it, that deep feeling of bitterness inside, and I think a lot of times none of us want to admit it. How do you get rid of that bitterness? Well, this is where forgiveness comes in. Mark 11:25 says, whenever you stand praying, forgive if you have anything against anyone, so that your Father also who is in heaven may forgive you your trespasses. When you forgive, it's not saying that it's okay for somebody to treat you a certain way. It's actually trusting God to take care of it. He knows the circumstances around it, and he knows their feelings, and he knows where they came from. Sometimes a person hasn't even meant to hurt you. It could have even just been a misunderstanding. So how can we steer clear of bitterness and turn that pain, that worry, that fear, and all those other feelings into opportunities to serve at God's feet? How do we turn them into blessings? Proverbs 10:12 says that hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all offenses. Hebrews 12:14-15 tells us to strive for peace with everyone and for the holiness without which no one will see the Lord. See to it that no one fails to obtain the grace of God, that no root of bitterness springs up and causes trouble. It is so easy to become bitter and become like this world and spread those roots of bitterness as we affect other people. But God asks us in Romans 12:2 not to be conformed to the ways of this world, that our mind should be renewed and transformed through everything that we go through, that by testing what is right and true, we may discern what is the will of God, what is good, what is acceptable, and what is perfect. This verse tells us to grow in compassion and knowledge and use our experiences and our trials to grow and serve others. When I see others turn their pain and their sadness into a mission for Jesus as they serve others, I am just enamored by their ability to love on others even through their pain. God can turn pain into the hugest blessings. Maybe you are someone who has lost a child and you have started a foundation to help others who have lost children. Maybe you have been turned away from your loved one in a hospital and have never been able to say goodbye. Ask God to help you flip that pain and sadness into service and grieve, but let that person or that circumstance become a part of you, become a part of who you are, and become a part of your mission.